What's up, guys? We should be live. I
Live.
think. Welcome to the first of the 30 nights, 30 chats thing that I'm, for some reason, decided to do. I the scheduling portion of this has taken like an actual month to try and I still don't have all the days scheduled. I think I have like 25 of 30 days. But I'm here with PoNGa, and I'm very excited because PoNGa, you're actually the best person to have on April Fools to kick this whole thing
Why?
off.
Why? What does that mean?
We actually, and I'm sure you remember, we actually have some history. And that history is you are so hard to nail down on whether or not you're being serious that at some point I actually banned you in Discord, or blocked you, I
No,
should
you
say,
blocked me on YouTube.
on
You blocked me
YouTube
on YouTube. Yeah.
for I don't even know how long, probably at least a few months, because I had no idea, absolutely no idea. You're just a
Now that you know
troll.
me, though,
You're
it
just a
makes sense,
troll.
right? Like the only chat I'm like that with is in Dan's chat because it's Dan,
Yeah.
and so like, yeah, I mean, I don't do that really anymore, but that is pretty funny. I remember I called you out on it because I was like, you would never reply to me, and I couldn't see your messages, but Dan would pull them up, and I was like, what's up with this? And then I think, like, maybe when I don't remember when I called you out on it, but maybe it was when we met in Charlotte. I might have mentioned something. I was like, "Hey, did you know you used to have me blocked on YouTube?" And you're like, "No, I didn't." I'm like, "No, you did." Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, Pong is the type of person that
We gotta have fun. We
eventually
gotta have
something
fun.
serious is going to happen and everyone's going to think that you're joking.
Yeah. So if it's like super serious, I don't like poke. Like if serious subject's being talked about, I don't try to like interject myself in that situation. But like when Dan's talking about taxes for the 50th time in a row on a live, like
Yeah.
you gotta make it fun a little bit.
You got to lighten it up a little
Um,
bit.
I don't really watch stuff live anymore, so I don't have the chance to troll as much anymore. But
Mhm.
yeah, I totally get it. But that is hilarious. I didn't even think about that. I totally forgot about it.
Well, obviously, you guys know Ponga, but Ponga, if you want to quick introduce yourself and where people can find you before we hop into today's topic,
Ooh, shameless
and we say
plug to
hi to
start us
chat.
off.
Yeah, plug it.
Okay, yeah, PoNGa Collectibles on Instagram. I don't really post there much besides stories when I go live on my next plug, which is Fanatics Live. I stream under Catch 'em All Collectibles on Thursday and Sunday nights, and randomly a Monday yesterday at 4 p.m. Central. Um, what else? Me and Bierski have the Box Nostalgia podcast on YouTube. We took about a month and a half break. If you're curious why, Bierski has a video on his channel. Shout out to him. Um, but we go live every other week on Wednesday. So we should be live next Wednesday, right before you guys come into town for Collecticon.
Nice.
Uh, but yeah, I think Discord, PoNGa. I'm in all the typical Discords. So if you ever have to reach me, Discord or Instagram is probably the best way to reach me. But yeah,
Cool. And Box Nostalgia, you guys, is a Pokemon slash video games. You kind of tackle both
so
subjects.
so we when we first started, we were very good at mixing up the topics to make sure we covered. If we covered more Pokemon one stream, we would go back towards a little more video games. We kind of fell off that a little bit because when we have guests on, a lot of them, it's a lot easier to talk about Pokemon because you know what they're interested in typically.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, we're getting back into it, and I know last time we did a Halo map tier list where we didn't include all old Halo maps, but we did a lot of like Halo 2 and Halo 3 maps. I think we did a pretty good job rating it, but we typically do like a tier list. We haven't done it lately, but we do like a rabbit hole where we give each other a topic to research, and then we talk about it for a couple minutes on the next live. We do like a who's that Pokemon at the end, which is definitely really fun, and it's a lot harder when you're actually put on the spot. I'll tell you that. But yeah, it's a super fun podcast.
Yes. I really enjoy it. And it's live, so you guys can hop in
Yeah,
there and ask
yeah.
questions and give them some shit on their tier list, because some of them are pretty brutal, I'll tell you
So
that
I
much.
I always start the tier list, right? It's like, hey, depending on how you rate these things, your list is going to be different, right? Like if you're going
Mm,
nostalgia based, like I would rate things different too. And we don't really have a criteria how we're going to rate things. So it's just for fun. It's just for fun.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Let's say hi to some people in chat. We got iFOMO popping in a little early. Crimson Collectibles, Kai, Drew, best mod in the game, Cashmere Fire. We've got Shug and Son of a Merc. Shug's going to be on later this week. And Dan was here. He's going to be catching up tomorrow morning, I think. He also became a member for 18 months. Pretty crazy. I think it's
Hear what this guy said? Java's celebrating April 1st with the biggest fool of them all. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
I think 18 months might actually be my long. Well, Spat's been a member on my channel for a long time too, so they might actually be pretty close. And then Alice, thank you very much for joining us. Okay, so I figure tonight we could talk a little bit on a topic that I think is kind of interesting because we both kind of fall into this. Your Discord nickname is Triple Dipper.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are called double dippers because I think when people talk about like success in Pokemon, I think people look at a lot of us are. Was that you?
Yeah, it was. I muted it instantly, right?
Yeah.
You'll see why. Just give me a second.
Okay. A lot of people talk about full-time in Pokemon. Like if you're full-time in Pokemon, you are successful in Pokemon. Like that seems to be like a marker of success is whether or not you're full-time. So even a lot of people in live streams will come in and they'll say, are you full-time in Pokemon? Because that's like the thing, right? Thank you, PoNGa, for becoming a member. But I kind of think that success is having a job and doing Pokemon and being able to double dip in that position.
That's the way.
Because then you get the financial security of having a job. And then you also get the financial benefits of having the side hustle. So I figured we could talk about that tonight.
I think that's a great topic.
So PoNGa, thank you very much for gifting 5 subs. Welcome.
So I couldn't do it on my phone, so I had to pull up the stream. I muted the tab before I opened it because I was like, I hope this works, but it didn't work. So
that's all right. Yeah, Son of a Merc, iFOMO, Shug, Kai, Oak, Bacon, and Drew. Welcome, you guys. So, PoNGa, if you don't mind answering the question, you don't have to go into full detail or anything, but what do you do as like a full-time thing? And then how do you interact in Pokemon as a business?
Yeah, so I never know what to say because I want to be vague enough so it's not obvious exactly what I do. I think maybe if you watch like Pokemon Wonders, I maybe go in too much depth. But I'm in, I'll say, research and development for so basically I develop new equipment and chemicals for industrial plants. So think of like steel, power, paper, those kind of plants. And I'm on the research side, so developing brand new technology, right? And so that's what I do for my day job. And then at night, I do Pokemon, which before this past going on 7 months, this is the 7th month. I was mainly just buying sealed stuff, waiting for it to appreciate, getting to a certain level, and then kind of dumping it off. And then I would basically say like the inventory I had was my PC because I genuinely enjoy it. I've also done like a bunch of grading and flipping, like I think a lot of us do. I don't really enjoy the process. I haven't graded since I think like September of 2023. Right before the Houston Collecticon was the last time I graded, where I dumped all my slabs to one bulk buyer. I don't really enjoy the sourcing process. Like I would rather like pay someone extra money to source for me, cut my margin in half, and just send the cards to grade. But now with the streaming stuff, I don't really do anything outside of that. So my extra source of income, my side business is the streaming stuff. And so what I'm able to do, working with PK and Dan is I'm able to like buy retail drops or, stuff I order ahead of time. I'm able to sell it to Dan at his percentages, make money there, and then, stream the same packs. And so that's why I call myself a triple dipper, right? Like I'm making my money at my day job, I'm making money on the product, and then I'm selling the product again, making an hourly wage to sell that to the end consumer. So that's really the basis of the business in 2025 is basically, the way we're structured as independent contractors, and we're basically consigning Dan's stuff if you really think about it, right?
Yeah.
But I always said like back in 2020 when I was buying stuff, I would love to just open endless packs for people. And that was kind of my end goal. And that's exactly what I'm able to do now. It is so much fun. And you're in there sometimes, like just talking to people, you get to know them, you get to know what they like to buy. When you package their packages, you tend to see a pattern like, hey, they always buy Charizard cards, JavaAkuma. Hey, they always buy Japanese boxes. They always buy Astral Radiance, stuff like that. And then you could cater your streams to say, hey, look, you asked for this card last time, I have it now. That's what I enjoy. I don't necessarily enjoy the sourcing, grading, flipping game as much.
Yeah. I am complete opposite. I do feel
Yeah.
like I would have fun just ripping packs for people. I think I love ripping packs. I don't like the consequences of ripping packs. I don't like losing money, and I don't like coming away with no
Yeah, of
hits.
course.
So
Yeah, so
I love
that
ripping.
that's the hard part though, right? And like I'm sorry I cut you off, but like I
You're
just
good.
need to get the point in there is like you're in our lives and you see the way we handle it, right? Like I never say, "Hey, if you buy these packs, you're going to make money." Like we're very
Yeah.
transparent that like, you know, when we're opening packs, like we don't say like, "Hey, this is you're going to make money in this set. There's so much value." Like when Crown Zenith was way cheaper, I would say like, "Hey, if you want a bunch of hits, maybe go Crown." When someone asks, "Hey, what pack should I open?" I say, "Hey, don't ask me, ask the chat because if I'm a good streamer, I would just tell you the most expensive pack, right? But like
Right.
that's not what I
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
to do. And so like I should tell you to open Prismatic, but don't open Prismatic, right? Like it's not a fun rip. And then what I was going to add to that was um like when we're doing our $1 auctions and stuff like outside the pack rips, I purposely don't mention prices, right? Because you
Yeah.
don't want people to completely hurt themselves, right? Whatever it goes for is what it goes for. So I wanted to get that point in there as well
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I know that's always talked about. So
Yeah. I like the idea of ripping packs for people and having that experience and experiencing that with the community. But also, I love sourcing cards. I love grading cards, and I love that the whole flipping. I've been doing that ever since I got in, and I really haven't stopped or graduated to something different or moved on to something. Uh,
you're good at it though, too.
I just like it, which probably makes me potentially better at it because I just like doing it. So I'll do it more and more and get better as I go. But so yeah, similar to you, I'm not a triple dipper yet, but I am a double dipper. I have a full time job where I'm able to work remotely full time, and a lot of times there are not a whole lot of hours of the day that I'm punched in that I'm actually doing something for um, my job. So I have some downtime, and during that downtime, I'm able to work a little bit on Pokemon stuff, whether it's pre-grading stuff or potentially looking at sourcing options. So in a way, I am being paid to do Pokemon,
Yeah.
like which is definitely a great way to do it. One thing that I feel like people might not think about with that is kind of the when you go full time, Pokemon is your everything. Like you have to pay yourself, you have to cover your bills, you have to like all of the stress, all of the monetary stress that you feel now with your full time job gets transferred to Pokemon. Whereas for us, like the monetary stress is still with our full time job, so we get to have Pokemon as this fun thing that we get to do on the side. And um, one thing too is that I can keep everything separate. So everything from my personal well-being comes from my job. Everything from Pokemon comes from Pokemon. It's not all, lumped into one, and I don't need to pull from one or the other to make ends meet. Um, so it alleviates a lot of that stress. Uh, I assume similar situation. Now you are married, and so you're in a different situation there. But I assume that you guys have a good situation going.
Yeah, I mean, my wife's fantastic. I mean, I stream 2 nights a week, right? And so I don't know, like, I think people will talk about it, but like when you're really scaling, what's up, Oak or Kai, not Oak. um, when you're really scaling the way we are, like there's a lot of behind the scenes work that we do, packing, unpacking boxes. I mean, Dan posts on Instagram, right? Like 4,500 packs this week. Like that means we have to get packages with thousands of packs in a week, check them to make sure people aren't sending us bad packs, organize stuff, all that kind of stuff. And like I can't store everything up here, so I have to make sure everything up here is restocked through after a stream, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, she's great. I mean, we just had a pop-up stream yesterday that took most of my day, and she's do what you got to do, which is awesome. And she sometimes runs packs up to me during stream because I don't like getting off camera and like having dead time, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a fun game to balance for sure. And like you said, to reiterate what your point when you were talking about having finances to cover your normal bills and everything Pokemon is extra. I was paying my bills. We bought a house before I started streaming, right? And so what streaming allowed me to do, especially in this market, is purchase sealed stuff to flip, purchase sealed stuff to put in my sealed collection. It allowed me to get one of my Grail cards, which is the Luigi Pikachu PSA 10 half art. Like it allowed me to have those kind of things where I couldn't justify having it in the past because I needed that money to flip, or to help pay bills, something like that, because it was coming more out of the personal side rather than the side income. Because I didn't enjoy flipping cards as much, right? So I wasn't having as much revenue generated to kind of turn over. So yeah, it's definitely supplemented what I've been able to do. And to your point, like if I went full time, like I remember being on Pokemon Wonders podcast, and he was like, "You're gonna go full time someday, right?" And I was like, "No." He goes, "I think you are." I'm like, "No," because every sealed item I have in my collection, it would all have to go. Every single item I ever owned, all go. So I had money in the bank in case something went bad, right?
Yeah.
I don't like risk. I don't like risk.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree completely. I'm not a big fan of risk either. One last thing is, and I feel like I should say it because I benefit from it a lot, is benefits. Benefits are
Yeah, yeah.
massive when it comes to just your normal everyday. If you have prescriptions that you need to pick up every week, if you have all that stuff, like you're gonna have to pay a lot more, or at least out of pocket. Maybe it's not provided as it is from your job. You're gonna have to cover that stuff yourself.
It is a
So
little easier if you have a significant other that has
true.
a something like a corporate job, so you could go on their plan, which is really nice. But yeah, I mean, just like a 401k match, like the amount of money my company puts in my 401k just for me to put in a certain percentage and they match, like you're guaranteed double my money, like guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like what I can't do that like, well, in this market you can, right? But like
Yeah.
guaranteed double your money is just like I don't know if people think about that when they go full time. So it's definitely really interesting. And I think I want to do this both, the corporate job and Pokemon as long as I can until I at least get to a financial place where maybe I could take a risk and it won't really impact anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. I agree. Let's run through some chat. Pokemage, how do we pump this to quad dipping?
Hey,
I don't
I invented triple dipping. I'm still figuring out the quad dipping, so I'll let you know when I get there.
there's gotta be a way. There's gotta be a way. You'll find it. Michael Duck, he works at the Kanto power plant right next to Zapdos.
Yeah, something like that.
Um, what's up, Namp? How's it going?
Nampy.
Kai has notified our employers.
I didn't say a word about working on the clock. Java did. I didn't. So
Scratch that from the record. Wow, he's married. Lame. I thought if I spent money, he'd marry me.
Hey,
Who dudes? Grimer, what's up? A-Town, how's it going? All right, guys. If you have any questions, you can put them in chat, and we will answer those. Couple of questions I wanted to, because this is a flipping channel. I flip a lot of stuff, and
Yeah.
I specifically make videos about my flips. So I was curious, and I'll probably ask most people this. Um, what was a recent great play that you had, PoNGa? Great flip, a great buy, a great something that worked out really well for you.
I mean, does it count like if it's like I mean, prismatic PCETVs, like
Yeah,
I buy a case for what are they, $60 a piece, right? So what is it, like $70 after taxes,
yeah,
$280, and you're able to sell them for $1,500, like, and like, believe it or not, like they were in stock and you're able to freely order them. I was
yeah.
texting Beerski. I was like, just order as many as you can. You could cancel later if you don't want them. Like,
It
so like
was
I was able to get 5 cases.
it
I
was
still
right
have,
pre-boom. It was
yeah.
just before all of
And like
this. Yeah,
I was buying PCTV cases when they were sitting in stock. So I was like, an EV set, like these could sit in stock for the next year. I don't care. I enjoy having this stuff in my PC. And so, I mean, it's hard to beat an instant, what is that? 7x, 6x
yeah,
after fees. Basically like $1,000 a case, which is just wild.
yeah, yep. I agree. I did really well with that. I didn't get as many cases as you did. I got 2 cases, but still, it was basically, what were they like between 250 and 300 a
Yeah,
box
something like that.
when they came out. So I actually sold all of my PCE TVs during that time. I
I
was like
want mine. I want mine all
full.
gone. If anyone wants Obsidian, Pal de Evolve, 151, Paldean Fates, all sealed cases, let me know.
Yeah. And to go with best play, I'm curious if you've had a play recently that didn't pan out for you, that you either
Uh,
lost on or you didn't make as much as you thought.
yeah, that's a good question. So I tend to just not sell when stuff doesn't go up. I typically like look at my inventory and I'm like, what has gone up a ton? Let me sell that type thing. But I was just recently going through my eBay for taxes to see what I sold last year. It wasn't a lot, so I was just going through the transactions, and I lost big on some Metazoo stuff. Um, Now I will say I'm way in the green on Metazoo. I liked Metazoo before it blew up, so I was always a fan. But I had a little bit too much when stuff went down, so I just wanted to liquidate some of it, especially when we bought the house. I was trying to clear some space. But like Nightfall boxes, I mean, they were all day 250, 300, or whatever they were. I probably bought them at like 150, 200, and then sold them for like 60, $70, which isn't the worst thing because you could claim it as a loss, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's probably one of the only plays I've probably ever made where I really lost or it didn't really go the way I planned.
Okay. Speaking of MetaZoo, I was actually in Florida this past weekend on
Yeah.
Saturday in Miami for CollectCon, and it was MetaZoo Meta 2, the second version of MetaZoo's first appearance at a CollectCon and getting their cards in front of the public and stuff. And we actually it was really fun. Spat and I were just walking around. We needed a break at like 3 p.m. on Saturday. We both had heavy backpacks on our back all day, and it was brutal.
Yeah, it's tough.
So yeah, we decided to take a break and we go up this elevator to the third floor. Doors open. There's Charlie Herlocker.
Yeah.
And we're like,
You're
damn,
the guy.
awesome. Yeah, we're just going to sit down and talk to Charlie. So we talked to Charlie for maybe half hour or so. And he had his binder full of all of like the hidden rares and the textured, all of the MetaZoo cards. And he just flipped it out to us and was like, hey, take a look at them, pull them
That's
out, check out the
awesome. I would have
textures.
loved that.
Yeah, so we got to take a look at all that. And I will say one thing that struck me in a slight negative way, just because I'm not into, I haven't held a lot of magic cards in the past. The magic card stock is a lot thinner. It feels a lot flimsier than a Pokemon card does. So that
Yeah.
was my first instinct was like, oh man, these are super frail. But the textures and stuff are super good looking on
Yeah,
a
I'm
lot of
so
those
excited to
cards.
get my hands on some of it.
So
I'm hoping to rip a little bit. I ripped a lot of Nightfall when it came out. The original Metazoo. That's my favorite set. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I hope it does well. I think dude, I would have gone. I always make the joke like I'm not going to Florida. I'm not going to Florida. But if I knew I can just have a binder, look at everything, and I would have gone just for that. Um,
yeah, it was cool. And Charlie said that he bought all of the boxes and he ripped all those cards from boxes, which I thought was cool too. And they were giving away the Poncho alt art boxes.
Oof, yeah,
Like they were
that's
doing wheel spins and stuff for them, and like kids were getting them and parents were getting them and all sorts of. So it was cool. They had a cool booth and they were selling some cool stuff. All right, let's see. Son of a Merc is wondering if you've held on to any prismatic ETBs or did you flip them all?
Well, God, on our live last night, I just YOLO'd auction one starting at $1, but I think I have 2 left. So I think I had 5 cases. I have 2 left.
2 cases.
Which it actually worked out because, like, on stream, I pulled a God pack, and the person that pulled the God pack got $1,000 giveaway, and then they bought a case from me through the live at a basically cost, right? Like I got paid market, they got it at basically MSRP or whatever, so it was a win-win situation. So one of those went there. But yeah, I still have 2 of them.
Crazy when your live streaming platform does cool things like giveaways and actually cares about the consumer.
They've been fantastic, man. They
pay attention.
I don't want it to be a shill stream, but I'm sure when you have Dan on, he'll shill it. But yeah, they do some cool stuff. They've been very, very good to us, and after what we did yesterday for them, hopefully that relationship continues to build. So
yeah. Pokemage has a question for us. Does the value of your inventory collection ever stress you guys out? I've been selling a lot of my seal lately because it feels crazy to have all this just sitting in my house. Well, I just mentioned earlier, I was really only holding on to PC ETBs, and I sold all of them because once Prismatic came out, I double checked prices on a lot of the other PC ETBs, and I was just dumb. I was just like, these are ridiculous. Get them out of here. And so
151's 500 in ETB. Like, what are we doing here?
I sold
just for perspective, on Chicago CollectorCon in October, I had them on my table for 200. They're now 500.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so I don't know if stress is the right word, but I do look at it constantly. I'll look at like sealed boxes I have. Like I have a case of Japanese 151 and 19 boxes of V-Star Universe and stuff, and all of those have doubled or tripled at this point. And I'm like, I'll probably move those fairly soon. So yeah, I don't know if I'm stressed out by it, but I definitely keep it in the back of my mind. And if I happen upon prices or something, sometimes I'll get the itch to sell. What do you think?
Yeah, I always kept, I talked about this with my wife too, because obviously it financially impacts her if something happens to my entire inventory, right? And I was always saying, like, I should just do the business insurance, just bite the bullet, have a nice blanket coverage in case there's a flood, tornado, the house burns down, all that kind of stuff. And recently with, me having a lot of Dan's inventory here, I had to have business insurance. And so we're running through 4,500 packs a week or whatever. You could imagine the stock we have on hand, right? Like it was a sum of money of his where I was uncomfortable. He was uncomfortable with us having it. So I went ahead and got business insurance to cover his and my stuff at this address. So I don't really get nervous about it anymore. If my house burns down, I get full market value of everything I have. And so if I really wanted stuff, I could just buy it right back, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
So if you have a significant amount of money and you just want peace of mind, go with the business insurance.
And that's what the collect insure or whatever.
Yeah, they were super easy to work with. If you want a dealer policy where you could have like tracking or visiting shows, all that kind of stuff, they don't have it on the website, so you have to contact them. But I got it done in like 20 minutes on the phone. And as you add like the blanket, like the beginning coverage is a lot, but then when you keep adding dollar amounts, it doesn't really add up that quickly. So,
okay.
Cool. It's I think it's worth it for the amount of inventory I have here. So
yeah. Ernie wants we want to hear Japanese flips. I had a good Japanese
sell my Japanese stuff.
I had an Umbreon EX special art rare that I finally got back from Beckett in a pristine 10 and sold it for $1,000 on eBay.
Ooh,
So I think I bought it for like $180 or something when the set came out, and did very well on it. So, and I still have 2 more for C10s to sell. So that's a
These
good one.
flips.
That's a good one.
I think the only recent Japanese stuff I've exchanged was at Chicago Collecticon in October. I traded some of my older Sun and Moon Japanese booster boxes that I bought for like $30 back in the day into slabs, and those slabs since then have tripled in price. So it was a win-win situation. He needed sealed product. I needed slabs. Like I think one of them was like the Pikachu Zekrom promo in a PSA 10. When I traded for it, it was like $180. Now it's like $600. Like, so it worked out really
Crazy.
well. So it was a sealed Japanese product. It was my only boxes I had, so I was a little sad about it. But
Yeah.
and then I guess when I bought my house last year, I sold a lot of my Tag All Stars boxes that I was buying for $30 and $40 back in the day, and used some of that as a down payment on my house. So
Nice. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What's up, Alex? What's up, Chef? Let's see. Son of a Merc. Is achieving perfect optimization possible? Consistent grading, submission cycles. The boom is nice in some aspects, but also a disruption in others. Yeah, so I was really hoping to, because at the end of last year, my whole goal was to scale my operation. My operation is grading and flipping. Kind of hard to scale grading and flipping when grading takes 4 months instead of the 1 month that was happening at the end of last year. So that definitely put a hamper on my ability to scale the way that I wanted to, because now I have like 1,000 cards or something in grading, and they've just been sitting out in the ether for 3 to 4 months. So definitely tougher to get to that scaling optimization that I wanted to be at with this whole boom period. Now, hopefully, when those cards actually come back, they're worth significantly more than I thought they were going to be at the end of last year, and I'll still scale decently well with the cards that I have. But yeah, I will be churning less this year based on the timing of things. But
yeah, I think like if you had a lot of like upfront capital, you'd be able to like send 50 cards a week or whatever. And then like 4 months down the road, if you kept sending in 25, 50 cards a week, then you would have consistent cards going in and out. But it's a lot of upfront cost to source all these cards, get 4 months worth of submissions, which could possibly be hundreds of cards if you go that route. It's a lot of capital. A lot of people don't have that. I don't have that to do 4 months of sourcing without getting anything in return. So
yeah,
but yeah, it impacted me too, right? Like I was going to use most of my streaming income to just invest in sealed product and put it away because I don't need that income, right? So it was going to be passive, and obviously with sealed product prices, I'm not really able to do that. So
they're
just
not on the
prepping
down
for
at the moment.
yeah. So I mean, I'm not buying surging Sparks boxes, $270 to invest in, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to position myself to be ready to pounce on the next opportunity. Now, I will say, like, and Spats in the chat, like, when 151 booster bundles go in stock on Walmart, I'm checking out 12 as many times in a row as I can. So I have capital set aside for that. So that's going to help when there's a downturn, and I could have more capital to put into that sealed stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Son of a Merc says it here. And one of my recent videos was about this, but basically like staying in the hobby and being prepared when the down period comes again, because you just gotta, a lot of people are going to get frustrated during this time. They can't get what they want, so they're going to leave. If you can figure out how you can best put your, like, not leave the hobby, but maybe try a different thing. Like I've been looking at maybe some Zelda cards here recently, or some other stuff, because modern Pokemon's crazy and I'm waiting for graded cards to come back. It's like if you could still keep yourself occupied and still operating within this space, then the next down period you'll have cash and be able to buy a bunch of stuff. So people should be selling right now.
So it's like right, it's a mindset thing, and like it's so obvious, right? Like I should have all my PCTVs gone, but like what if 151's $750 in a month? Like, do I need the money, right? Like And so I always try to go the route of selling some.
What if it's 300 in a month?
Yeah, I mean, then I'm still 6xing my money, right?
That's
You see what
true.
I'm saying?
That's
Like,
true.
and so it's like, yeah, it's it. And the other problem with that is like some people say like prepared for the off season, right? Well, a lot of people when the off season comes, they get scared and they end up not actually cashing in, or not cashing in, but um, kind of using all their capital and buying the stuff they think is a good buy.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more fear when the market's down. I mean, look at 2022, right? Like people were not buying stuff. Like we were in the Pokenomics Discord, and like that's why I don't chat in there anymore. Because like people are like, I'm never buying Modern Sealed again. It's never gonna go up again. And it's like, and the same people that were saying that are now talking about how great Modern Sealed is. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, you know,
It's the cycle. It's the up and down.
yeah. If people get,
just
and
as
I
much
do
as
it
the
too,
market
right? Like,
cycles, the attitudes shift too.
yeah, I try to stay level headed with it and just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
And try to not base my opinions on what other people are saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's really hard. We all get overreaction. We have overreactions, good or bad. It's just human nature, right? So,
Yeah.
so when I said that I wasn't just calling out people in there, like I also had those same thoughts, and I wasn't as positioned as I wanted to be for now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely a tough mindset to break.
Yeah, it is. It is always that nature of like, you know, when something goes up, people want it, right? So like battle styles, you could buy for what, $70 a box, $75
Yeah,
a box for the longest time, and then all of a sudden it went up to like 125, 140, and that all of
and
a
now
sudden
people are
everyone
buying.
wanted battle styles. It's like,
Yeah,
why
yeah,
didn't you buy cases when it was 75 a box?
because it was doomed. It was never going to go up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Price goes up, so you buy it.
yeah, people need that proof, I guess, before they're willing to put their money in. But if you're not willing to take the risk, then you're not going to see as big a reward sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, so Spat says, I know when boom end. I'm actually curious though, because PoNGa, about once a week in the Pokenomics Discord, there is an in search of channel. And about once a week, you're in there and you post a whale to
It
buy
was twice.
literally
It was
everything off of
twice.
me.
It was twice. Yeah.
Is that a joke, or are you are you seeing something in the market where you're like, if someone wanted to buy everything on the shelves behind me, I would do it?
It's not everything. It's mostly like PCETVs, that kind of stuff. I want it all gone. Every single item. Um,
Why?
I won't say everything. I don't.
You
The
just
price
don't
appreciation
value
doesn't
it
make
as much.
sense to me. Yeah, I don't value it. I don't value it at half the price. Like I was selling 151 at $200 a piece, right? Like I was selling cases of regular 151 ETVs at 750. Like I enjoy sealed stuff, but there comes a point where like it just becomes uncomfy to have the item anymore. And I feel like I'd rather have the money to buy stuff I enjoy, like the Luigi card, or like my Pokemon Center boxes I have here, the Yokohama box, stuff that brings me joy. That like would I rather have this or a prismatic ETB or PC ETB case? I'd rather have this. Like it's similar pricing. Like I'd rather have that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like a half joke. I probably wouldn't sell everything, or like the super premium collection for Shining Legends. I'm not selling that. I'm not selling it. It's my last one. I'm not selling it. Shining Legends was the first set I opened when I got back into Pokemon, and
And you pulled
so
the Mewtwo.
I pulled the Mewtwo. Yeah. Thank you to my wife for buying me like a $28 ETB.
There you
That's
go.
how cheap it was back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like half joking, but like if someone wants to buy all my PC ETBs, like I would happily ship them tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
sell it all 0 by fall. Sell it all 0 by fall.
0 by
Hashtag.
fall.
That's a direct quote from Catch 'em All Collectibles.
Son of a Rig says, I'm the opposite. That's the one thing that I'm holding. You're holding PCETBs right now.
I mean, I don't think it's like a like
I don't think it's terrible either.
It could
but
go up and it
appreciated
could go up.
so
It
much.
could go down. Like, did
Yeah.
you buy them from Pokemon Center or did you buy 151 at $500? I think it's a very different mindset.
True.
And
Because you
so
have
if
a
you,
lot less risk if you bought in at $60 a box,
Yeah,
and
so
you
like
just
Son of
want
a
to
Merc,
ride the
right? Like
wave. Like
I don't
that's
see
cool.
I don't see myself buying them back. So that's fair then. Like, but when I have 3 cases of one of the sets, do I need 3 cases? No. Will I happily sell 2 of them and maybe keep 1? Absolutely.
Well, because selling
And so
two, you're still probably profiting and you get product out of it. So then you have literally zero risk because your buy-in is zero because
yeah.
you've made, enough from your appreciating
Yeah,
boxes.
so I'm like I said, I'm being a little reactionary when I say like searching for someone to buy it all, but like a lot of the stuff I bought back when no one else was buying it. And so like I have Fusion Strike boxes right here that were $80 a piece and now they're 500. Like
That's insane.
you see like
I knew that
it's hard.
Fusion was everyone shit on Fusion when it came out. And I always it was like, why? Espeon,
Aspion's the
Gengar,
best alt art in all of Sword
like
and Shield.
you're
Hashtag hot take.
Mew, you're crazy. Those are like the three most
The
popular
Muse I
Pokemon.
don't the Muse I don't like as much. What I will say is I wish I was streaming 3 years ago when the market wasn't as hot because I really figured out what sets are good. And I think opening a ton of packs helps that. Fusion Strike's really brutal to open, but when you get a Hitman, it feels really good. It
Yeah.
feels really, really good.
Yeah, Fusion kind of fell into that issue though because it wasn't the all the stolen like secret rares and
Yeah.
stuff wasn't that
Yeah.
Fusion. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Now, did that actually affect hit rates? I don't
probably
know.
not.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Like, did they just replace all the hits that were taken? Like, they had to have known, right? Like,
right.
they might not know who took them or where they went, but like, I feel like people like bash them for their quality control, but like they're printing billions and billions of cards a year. Like, stuff's gonna get messed up. Large scale stuff usually doesn't get messed up, right?
Yeah,
It's usually like small batches or, the small 0.001% of things that gets
yeah,
messed up, not full hits in an entire print run. So,
yeah. Um, let's see.
yeah.
Mage
So, I mean, I'll
says
use an
feels.
example of the go
Oh,
ahead,
good.
go ahead, go ahead. No,
Oh,
no,
I
go ahead.
was just gonna say. Mage says it feels weird holding stuff you can 5 to 10x now. Um, it kind of goes into the whole opportunity cost situation too, because is that 151 ETB is 500 the top? Is it gonna, is it gonna do a hidden face where it's gonna sit at 500 for like 4 years and never move? It's like, well, what could you do with 500 bucks? And you're making 10x on your money at 500 bucks. So yeah, it's just it's a big equation you gotta figure out what just
Yeah, and I have a different opinion on every single item I buy too. It's like I don't I know like some of these sealed guys are like, oh, when it goes up this percent or this dollar value, like I sell it. And no, I just do it based on feel. Like
yeah,
if I feel like I'm uncomfortable in what I have, I just look at everything and say, what do I want to sell? And I just go based on strictly feel. Sometimes I win and the stuff goes down. Sometimes I lose and it spikes right after I sell it, right?
yeah.
But like I did it with like Pokemage's point with when the Van Goghs came out, I was somehow able to get 15 of them from Pokemon Center. I sold all 15 that week. They were all gone because I graded one.
Yeah.
I graded my worst quality one in a 10 somehow. All the rest of them I just shipped out the door because you were able to do what was it, 20 or 25 bucks, whatever, and sell it for 150 bucks with the plush on eBay. And so like how do you turn that down, right?
But now they're
Yeah,
what, like
now I look like the
$300 a
idiot,
piece or
right?
whatever?
But at the
Yeah.
time, right? So it's you just got to
Yeah.
be comfortable with your decision and just move forward.
You can't tell the future either. You don't you can evaluate something and the fundamentals of it and hope that the market agrees with you and that the price goes up, but ultimately you don't know if that's going to be the case. So,
I think people overanalyze too much.
yeah.
Just make the choice and stick with it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I think in this specifically like the niche part of the community we're in, like Pokenomics and stuff, I think we all overanalyze way too much. And I think we'd be way more successful if we didn't do that as much. There's times and places for it. There's
Yeah.
absolutely times and places for it. If you're buying a big collection, like yes, absolutely overanalyze it, make sure it makes sense. But some of this stuff is very blatantly obvious, and I think we spend too much time
I think
looking into it.
I think the the speculative stuff is the stuff that I like to analyze. Like if I'm going to hold something long term, I'm not
That's the
going to
stuff I
hold
don't look at.
I'm not going to hold Crimson Invasion. Like I'm going to hold something that has good hits, good solid Pokemon. Like there are going to be fundamentals. Like I'm not going to hold Shrouded Fable if I can hold the same amount in Temporal Forces.
But is that really analyzing? That's just blatantly obvious, right? Like you don't even have to think about it.
It's still analysis, though. You don't have to think about it because you've been doing it for 5 years now. But for a new person,
that's what. Yeah, there's a time and place, and it's different for everyone. Is my point, right? Like,
yeah,
I see people like asking questions, and it's like just try it small scale and see how you like it, right? And I think that just goes for everything.
I do agree. I do think it's fun. I think it's fun to have conversations with Spat where it's like in 20 years.
It's fun. It's fun to an extent, but when it's like, I see it like hold people back, like they analysis paralysis is a thing, and if you never take action, that's like worse, I think, than taking action and losing a small amount or something.
Oh yeah. If you find yourself like, not being able to thinking too much,
that's where I'm going with it. That's where I'm going with it. Like you could definitely overanalyze.
If you're making a decision based on whether or not I think Electabuzz will be more sought after than Tinkaton in 20 years, like I gotta go buy all those Electabuzz cards.
No matter how much analysis you do, like you can't know. So
yeah, some of it's just fun. Yeah.
Team up it's absolutely fun. Team up's gonna be more expensive than every other set, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, apparently more expensive than base set. That's what you guys said. It is funny.
No, I was saying it's possible. I don't think it'll happen. Like it's possible.
Oh, anything is possible.
I think it's a decent shot. I don't maybe think it's 50-50, but it's 20% maybe. I don't know. Like, did we ever think Team Up was going to be $5,000 a box? No.
But again, like of any of the sets from that era, Team Up was the one that probably like short printed, great hits. Like it had everything it needed to be the most expensive box.
But $5,000 in 2025.
Well, no, I mean that's crazy.
Yeah, right. When Cosmic didn't get a booster box reprint, right? And so like, why isn't
Cosmic I think that's didn't it get a lot of like
packs reprints? Yeah. It got packs, but
yeah, Glory of Team Rocket at 200 a box right now for the Japanese box. It's crazy.
That's gross.
Crazy, dude. I agree. I am not in at $200 box.
It reminds me of 151.
Yeah, I still want to see I want to see the Mewtwo. I want to see some of the other big hits. I got to see some of the hits from Battle Partners at CollectCon, like the Articuno and the Ethan's Typhlosion.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, that Typhlosion card is sick. I love that one with Ethan
Typhlosion's
and Typhlosion.
Heat Wave, right?
Oh yeah, Heat Wave Arena. Yeah, you're right. Heat Wave is a kick-ass set. That is a really.
I like
good
the Ho-Oh. Yeah, I like the Ho-Oh and the Garchomp.
Yeah. So if Rocket knocks out of the park like we all hope it will, I mean that's going to be a banger of a set with Heat Wave and Rocket both together.
Do you still think the name of the set matters, or are you kind of? For those of you that don't know, Java, it was me, Java, Beerski, and Chef, and I was the only one that had the opinion that when Descent Rivals came out, they made a big deal that the name didn't have Rocket in it, and they said it was going to hold the set back, basically.
I think what I did say was I think that if it had been called Glory of Team Rocket in English and was a specialty set, I think that would be better to me. I think that makes more sense to put an emphasis on Rocket, make it a smaller specialty set instead of packaging it with a different set. But I think personally,
I hate specialty sets. They suck. I'm so happy it's a booster box. I'm so happy.
I mean, Shrouded Fable sucks, unfortunately, but the other specialty sets have been good. 151 is a specialty set.
I like booster boxes. I just think ETBs are so annoying, and so they're just so big. They take up so much space. It's so much harder to store them, all that kind of stuff, if you're doing a mass quantity of them. And think about it, the last 2 Rocket sets were booster box sets. Let's do more. Let's do more.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Yeah, I think the cards alone that from half the set are good, and so what I've seen of Rocket so far seem to be really good, and they seem to be important Pokemon for Rocket at this point. So
Yeah, even if Rocket
we'll
came
definitely
out
see.
and was kind of like it still has all of the banger hits from Heatwave Arena, so it's already just as good as any of the other sets in the block, just with the Heatwave hits. That
Yeah,
if Rocket kind of comes out and is bleh, then it still is on par with the rest of the sets. So
yeah, I agree. I'm really excited. I mean, it comes out in 2 weeks, or we should know the set in like 2 weeks. So
oh yeah, because it's gonna
it'll
come out in
definitely be really,
Japanese.
yeah, it'll definitely be really exciting. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm just gonna try to enjoy it for what it is and not put my expectations too high to get disappointed when the Mewtwo's not as cool as we want or whatever. So
I think yeah, I'm very excited to see what the Mewtwo looks like. I so I think Nan P at some point was saying that like if a card has an EX, then it's gonna get a secret rare usually. If it doesn't have an EX, then they usually don't get secret rares. Is that how it goes? I
I feel
forget
like that makes
what the
sense,
stats.
right? Because like feel like that makes sense. I never looked at that, but it feels right.
Or like SIRs. I don't remember,
Well, there's definitely EXs that don't have SIRs, right? But
but th- some of them have full arts
it's
and
like
not
Prismatic
SIR.
has a Lugia and there's no SIR, so
A Lugia, oh yeah, Lugia EX. Huh.
I don't really know.
Yeah, Heatwave is a great set. I agree. Hoothoot. Welcome, Hoothoot.
Yeah, Heat
Side
Wave's
note,
pretty good.
shout out to Retro. The man has the fastest shipping. Just got a package in a day. Retro will get his plugs in every live stream possible.
Yeah, Retro. I'm usually the one that posted in Dan's chat, so it's we got a chef doing it. Check out Retro Specs
Yes.
for your all your Japanese sealed needs wholesale on his Instagram
And
and
I'll be talking to him
individual
tomorrow.
boxes on his website. Yeah, and he'll be on the channel tomorrow. Yeah.
So that'll be fun. All right, PoNGa, I asked you to bring two things to the chat today. One of them is a hot take.
Yeah.
So you said you have two hot takes, one to piss me
Yeah.
off and one
Yeah.
real one.
And I think the one that's going to make you mad just because I don't think it's really going to make you mad. But I think it's less of a hot take now than it was like 4 months ago.
Okay.
So you want me to just go ahead? Are you going to do a hot take too?
Oh, I don't have
Oh,
one.
so you make me do one, and you got to
I
do
gotta
one
come up
every
with
day of
30
April.
hot takes.
Yes, it's your
No,
it's
I
your
can't
show,
do
man.
that.
All right. So my first one is, and this is mainly since I started streaming.
Is this
and
the real
opening
one or
up-
the one that's gonna piss me off?
This is the one it'll make you mad, but I'm also serious about it.
Oh, okay.
And it's probably just recency bias too. So I'm not completely in love with it. But I think so when I think of like SV sets, I think of the hits as being illustration rares and SIRs or art rares and SARs in Japanese. I like the combo of illustration rares and SIRs more than the trainer gallery plus alt arts from Sword and Shield. And I know you don't like that because you don't like the Scarlet and Violet or newer Pokemon, which a lot of the illustration rares are. And I thought that would make you mad because a lot of like the big alt arts from Sword and Shield tend to be more popular Pokemon.
Well, yeah, at least when they started doing the alt arts.
So basically what I'm saying is I almost like the hits in Scarlet and Violet more than Sword and Shield to an extent.
No.
I just like the combo of illustration rare and SIR.
I feel like it's just kind of the same, isn't it? Like a character rare and a alternate art.
But I also think the cards look way better with silver borders. So that's like,
yeah. I guess I don't really think about it because
you're a Japanese guy, like you like the silver border. Like imagine the secret Pika from Crown Zenith. Imagine how much better that would look with the silver borders.
Well, I don't have to imagine because
exactly,
the Japanese
that's
version.
The point. But like, there's just. I think the arts in illustration rares are so much better than the trainer galleries, and it's not even close. Like, and so I just really like that combo. a lot better. And I
Yeah.
didn't realize it until I was opening hundreds of packs of every single set. When you open hundreds of packs of every single set, you realize like there's so many cards I open. I'm like, I've never seen this illustration rare before.
Yeah.
I've never seen this SIR before, which sounds like the Squawkabilly SIR. Do you even know what that one looks like? People probably it's like a $10 card or $5 card, or whatever. I love that card. It's beautiful. But I would have never thought about it until I opened it 15 times on the channel.
Yeah, I would say the one thing that makes me disagree with you is that a lot of the special illustration rares have the hats, and I really don't like the hats.
That's fair.
So, but again, I'm not huge on Gigantamax versions of Pokemon either. So a lot of the, a lot of the alt arts have their Gigantamax, Dynamax forms. So, I mean, I
will say
if
I like tier listed them, a lot of alternate arts would also be like if it was SIRs and alt arts, a lot of alt arts would be towards the top of the list as well. Like the Espeons, the Espeon. So I think the Zapdos SIR is probably one of my favorites from Scarlet and Violet.
100%.
And that would be up there with the Espeon, right? So I think like people when they hear that will be like, well, I like these alt arts way better than SIRs, but it's more of like the complete era of cards.
Yeah.
Like Paldea Evolved has like 30 something or whatever or illustration rares. Like some of them are crazy. And
I do agree that some of the artworks are very nice, but I am biased towards popular Pokemon. So.
That's why I wanted to say it because
yeah.
But it's just man, some of the artworks are just nutty, and I didn't realize it until I was opening the packs and holding them in my hand every single night. So
yeah. I wish they did more. I mean, I know that the illustration rares are. I wish they did textures on the illustration rares, too. I think that would be kind of cool instead of them just being the flat sheen. But it is what it is.
Yeah, what NamP said is exactly the case.
Yeah, matter of taste, which is better. I could see. I could see arguments for both. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, I agree with that one 100%. Okay, so the other one. See, I didn't tell you what it was, but I told you before. I think about this a lot, and I don't know like the proper way to articulate it to where I kind of people will understand it to what I like how I want them to, but I don't know. Like, and this is outside of like the MSRP crowd, stuff's too expensive crowd. I don't mean those people. I mean more so like even like our tighter knit circle, I genuinely like don't feel like people like Pokemon anymore. And the reason I say that is because, and once again, I'm in this category. Like I look at myself, I'm like, why did I say that? These cards, like this is awesome. Why am I being critical? But like I feel like no matter what happens, people are disappointed, and it's just, I don't know. It just feels like people aren't enjoying it the same way as 4 or 5 years ago, in my opinion, from what I see and the people I see talk. And I don't know the proper way to articulate that because I still think people enjoy it, but it just feels a lot different now than it did a while back.
I think you don't see a whole lot of people saying how just cool something is instead of.
That's what I'm trying to change to. That's like, I'm trying to get there, and I struggle with it all the time. Like I'm critical of cards and decisions Pokemon makes and all that kind of stuff. But I've been really trying to get to like a mental space to where like I'm just trying to enjoy. I'm trying to enjoy everything for what it is. And I think since I've been trying to do that, I've just been in a better mental space for that.
Yeah, I wish we saw, and maybe they do it. I don't watch a whole lot of Pokemon content, so maybe there are people out there to do it. But it'd be cool to see more like art appreciation videos of like new sets, where people go through the new set and they just say what they think is cool about it. Not analyzing it based on what cards are going to be most expensive and what cards you should pick up to flip, like all that stuff. Like just looking at the cards and being like, this is a badass card. Like this card.
And there's a balance of still having that, right? Like that's not my point. Like people, I'm still interested in the business side of things. That's not the point, but I'm just trying to enjoy stuff a little more. And it's really hard, especially like people that are full time. Like, is your income like? It's hard to enjoy it as much because like you're so focused, and do the same thing. I'm focused on making money and putting on the best stream, all that kind of stuff. But it just feels different than it did 4 or 5 years ago. It feels a lot different.
And correct me if I'm off base, but I feel like going to a couple of um, events recently, I feel like there's a lot of, and I know that there are people in the community who like crypto, so I'm not saying this in like a horrible, nasty way. I'm just the crypto bro is its own sort of thing. I'm not calling out anyone specifically, but I do feel like a crypto broy type of vibe with a lot of the people who are at these events nowadays, where it's like, and a lot of people. I think I was on. Well, I was watching Beer Ski, and then after Beer Ski was done on uh shit, what's that place called? Whatnot. After he was done on Whatnot, I tuned into a couple other streams, and these people were ripping packs. And they had no idea what these Pokemon were. They're like Gen 1, Gen 2 Pokemon, like super popular Pokemon. They have no idea what they're ripping. They're just ripping, like selling stuff to people because their friend or whoever has access to distribution or what. Like, but and they don't have any knowledge of it. They're just doing it because it makes them money. I
Yeah.
feel like maybe we're seeing more of that this time around instead of 4 years ago when people seem to be getting back into it because that's what they loved when they were a kid. Um, I don't know.
Well, it's hard because like I think a lot of that stuff, those kind of people that you're kind of describing, were also here in 2020. Um, I mean more so like people that have been here for 5 years just feel like they don't like it as much,
Like they've fallen out of it.
and they're just
Like they
doing it.
used to like it, but now it's just purely like
It just feels
grinded
and
business.
like it's what Nan P said earlier, or a couple comments up, right? Like I said that earlier. Like I'm just like let's just enjoy it for what it is, right? Like why do we care that a Wobbuffet is the promo? Like for the ETB, like it's a cool card. It's Wobbuffet. It's an important Pokemon for Team Rocket, right? Like
Yeah,
it doesn't have Jesse and James. Like I don't know. It's a cool card still. Like it's not
yeah,
our favorite card, but it's still cool, right? Like what if they just didn't do a
yeah.
promo? I don't know.
It's kind of this. It's kind of falling into the same category with me as the games where there's the expectation is higher because you know what they're capable
That's
of,
fair.
or like
Yeah, that's fair.
what what can be improved, what they can do because we've seen it before. Like you know what video games look like in 2025 and what they should probably look like. What the next Pokemon game should look like, or should play like, or should have 30 to 60 FPS smooth. Not dropping to 5 FPS when it rains. Um, and that type of stuff. So you have these expectations, and then when they're not met, like when people think of Rocket Set, there's a long history of badass cards in Rocket Sets. And so when the first card that they see is a Wobbuffet, it's like, yes, Wobbuffet does have big ties to Rocket,
But
especially
it's
in the
one
anime.
card. It's one card.
Right, it's one card. We haven't seen the entire set yet. That's true, 100%. And so yeah, people should probably reserve judgments more until they see the entirety of the set.
And like I'm
I
not
can agree
coming
with
from a
that for
place
sure.
where like you can't have your own opinion. Like you're more than like everyone has their own opinion, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but it just like feels like it's just like not
Well,
coming
it
from like a fun
dampers
place.
other people wanting to have
That's
fun
why like
when
I just
you go into a
I don't
community
read
and
disc
everyone's crapping on something.
I don't read discords anymore because I just it's just full of that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, it's
And once again, like I'm lumping myself into that category at times too. I don't want it to seem like I'm putting myself above that because I've definitely been critical of certain things to a
this
way
is
too far extent.
this is something that I highly disagree with. Um
I don't disagree with that at all.
I think that people right now are literally doing there's more art on the card, therefore it's better. I think that's what it is. Because I think people highly disregard a lot of E-Series, WotC, a lot of those artworks just because they're on a third of the card and not a full art. They think that it's somehow worse. And I think that is literally happening right now.
I mean, a lot of like half art cards are literally just a Pokemon on a plain background, though.
Well, yeah, I mean Sugimori, but there's a lot more illustrators than Sugimori that, look at all of E-Series. All of E-Series is freaking
E-Series is a
gorgeous.
terrible thing to compare it to because I think that might be some of the best art. But outside of E-Series, I don't think it's as bad of an argument.
Well, now we're just adding stipulations.
Well, but I'm agreeing with you if it comes to E-Series, but around E-Series, I disagree.
Yeah. No,
E-Series,
I know.
when people ask me all the time, like, what's your favorite set? And I go, probably one from E-Series, because you ask me tomorrow, you ask me yesterday, I'm going to give you a different answer which one of them, because they're all full of awesome arts, and I can't choose.
But I honestly
like, I'm
think,
never going to say an EX set. I'm never going to say Jungle. I'm never going to say Fossil. Never.
I mean, some of the Neo cards are freaking
Neo's
beautiful
pretty
too.
solid too.
I do think that if you took some of the Neo cards, if you took some of the E-Series cards and you made them full art, people would be like, "This is the best art we've ever seen."
Yeah, so I don't
think
like to go to that extent. Yeah, I think there's a too far positive and a too far negative. I'm trying to be more in the middle.
Yeah.
On the fence a little bit more.
But yeah, I do think we are seeing amazing art. I'm not trying to discredit the art that we're seeing right now because I think it's really cool. I think there's more than ever opportunity for these artists to be creative because they do have a larger canvas. They can add like fun little, the Glaceon alternate art that has like all the different Pokemon and stuff in it and everything that's going on. And there's so much cool stuff you
I
can
love
do.
it. It's not a
with more
valuable one, but
space.
I love the unknown alt art. Like,
Yeah,
if you
it's very
ever
cool.
played the games, I think that might be like the best seen alt art in Sword and Shield. Like, it's just the perfect alt art if you ever played the games. The perfect alt art.
Yeah.
For that Pokemon. Now, is it my favorite alt art? No, because it's an unknown. But
Right.
it's like perfect.
Or the Aerodactyl.
Yeah, the Aerodactyl.
Crazy
Exactly.
alt-art. Yeah.
Exactly. It's crazy. Is it my favorite Pokemon? No, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
It is awesome. It's the perfect scene. It's the perfect scene.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, Pokemon is just
like Crystal Lugia, like that's definitely S tier. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
But like this card, like this might be an F tier. This
That's
might be a Y tier. This might be
I'm
a
sorry,
Y tier.
but Sugimori, I really don't have any love for Sugimori artworks. I really don't. It does nothing for me.
People like these?
I mean, they're nostalgic, but in terms of artwork,
they're nostalgic.
I agree.
But yeah,
I would agree on those in terms of artwork.
I like them because they're
like
nostalgic. I don't like I don't want them for the art. I like them because they're nostalgic, like you said.
Yeah. Okay. We got our 2 hot takes out of the way. Spicy. Now there's one thing I wanted to do. Obviously, you guys saw I had a little bit of a crash out last week. I screamed.
I loved it, baby.
I screamed a little bit on stream. But one thing that I wanted to do going forward with these conversations was I wanted to get each of the people that were going to be on to talk about an act of kindness that they either did, witnessed, or something else in the Pokemon hobby. So some sort of kind thing, kind gesture, positive thing that happened to you or from you or you witnessed. What do you got, PoNGa?
Yeah, so I didn't want to make it one that I did because I think that's kind of I don't want to talk about myself. So I thought of one and I was like sitting there like what would be a good one? And the one I landed on was when we were at CollectorCon Orlando. UAP was there. And man, that dude was running around the convention. We were all vending besides him. He was running around the entire convention, making sure if we needed water, if we needed this, if we needed that. Do you have to go to the bathroom? I could watch your table. And for him to be like on a big trip like that in another country and to spend that much time out of his trip to make sure we were all good and successful and just making sure we were doing okay. I mean, vending all day is like really stressful. I don't like leaving my table, but we could all trust UAP. Like he could sit there for 2 minutes while I run to the bathroom. And so I wanted to shout him out. That was something I was reflecting on that I thought was really, really cool that he was using so much of his trip to do that. So I wanted to
Yeah.
give him a good shout out.
Yeah, that's like you said, super helpful when people are willing to do that stuff when you vend. And
But like specifically him, he's in another country. Like he should be enjoying his time being in Florida, running around, sourcing stuff, which he was still doing, but he would just went above and beyond. So shout out to him.
yeah, awesome. Well, thanks, UAP.
And
I'm
I
sure
wanted to
you'll.
do another one, another cop
Yeah,
out
go ahead.
answer.
Go ahead.
You,
Oh boy.
after Chicago Collecticon, I was dead, and you helped me bring all my stuff to my car in the parking lot. You watched it for me while I ran and got the car, and that was really, really nice of you, and I appreciate you.
Of course, no problem. No problem. I like helping people, so I get enjoyment out of helping people.
Yep.
So I even told PoNGa this, or 2 weeks from now we'll be in Chicago again. And I was like, I'm just gonna help people because I'm not vending. So I'm like, I'll carry around whatever. I'm cool with it. So
Yeah.
A-Town with the spicy take. Pokemon pocket art greater than all.
You don't want my opinion on this. Let's skip it.
I do think they're doing very well with the pocket art right now. I think a lot of the full arts and stuff are very cool. I think they're definitely focusing on cool Pokemon at the moment as well. Like I think, well, the shiny set is pretty lame. I think we both
The
agree
shiny
with that.
set might be the worst thing I've ever seen. But
Yeah, the shiny set is very lame. There's only like 4 shiny cards, or like 6 shiny cards or something. Like there's barely any shiny cards, and they all look like they came out of Shiny Treasure EX, basically.
see, like I don't think most of them are any better than a lot of like SIRs and illustration rares. I just think the first couple sets they did it with all the popular Pokemon, so people are gonna like them. So
Yeah.
it's like, how do you get the most user base? You make Charizard cards, you make Pikachu cards, you make a Mewtwo that you go into. Like they were smart about it. Are they always going to only use those Pokemon? No. Is there awesome arts in that I wish that were in the TCG? Absolutely. But do I think they're like miles above anything we've gotten in the TCG? I don't.
I would say not in the TCG as a whole. I would say in terms of Scarlet and Violet so far, I think that there are a lot of cards in Pocket that I like a lot better than most of the Scarlet and Violet cards so far.
I would
my
probably
opinion,
say
but
some of them. I
Yeah.
would say some of them probably.
they're doing
Like
a really good job.
the
with
cards
Pocket.
where you go into them, like obviously those are going to be cool, right? Like you can't do that with at least at this point, we
Not
can't
yet.
do it with a physical card, right?
Yeah.
So, but like the Palkia, it looks just like the Palkia alt art. Like it's the same concept.
Yeah. The Lucario is pretty cool, but honestly, I like the Lucario from the actual TCG better. The V-Star alt, where it's looking badass straight at the camera. Yeah, looking like he's gonna rip your limbs off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah, I mean, with that said, like yeah, there's absolutely very, very cool arts. But I don't think it's like miles above everything.
Do you think, and this is a speculation,
Oh no.
do you think we will see a physical Pocket set eventually? Like, what percentage do you think is going to actually happen that will get a physical Pocket set?
I don't think they need to. See, like I think people are they do the answer where it's like, well, if the demand goes down, they'll do one. I don't think they think that way. I think they know if they're gonna do a crossover already, probably.
Yeah.
It's just how they want to do it. Like, I don't know, because like I feel like some of the excitement when it comes to Pocket is like being brand new arts. And I think if they just reuse some of the Pocket, if they reused all the Pocket arts, I don't think it'd be as exciting. Maybe if they picked a couple and then did new cards as well, I think that would be pretty cool.
What if they did like a classic collection style thing with the first 3 decks that they put out, the Mewtwo and Pikachu and
like
Charizard.
Where you're guaranteed all the cards or something like
where you get the 3 decks and you get a board to play on, and it's like its own specific thing because Pocket's, an abbreviated version of the actual TCG. They could do like
I don't think
Pocket collection.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. I mean, God, it's so hard to say if they're going to or not. I don't think they need to, but can we really like how do you put a percentage on something like that? Because it's
Yeah.
truly probably 50-50, right? Like they're
Yeah,
gonna do
yeah,
it or they're
yeah, for
not.
sure.
Like there's no way any of us could know.
Yeah.
Um like
I just think they're
I,
so cool.
but
It'd be
would you want it to
unfortunate
be
if they didn't.
would you want it to only be like you wouldn't want anything new in it?
What do you mean anything new?
Like, would you want them to just do a mashup of the best pocket sets and put it in the TCG, or would you want them to do like some cards and then also new arts? Like
Well, they
to
could do like a pocket subset, like a like no, but that wouldn't really work because if it's a different version of the TCG, that's what I'm kind of thinking. If they did that, they would have to do like a classic collection box because, or they would have to change the text on the pocket cards to fit the TCG, and then that just seems weird that they would do that.
yeah, I don't know. I would have to think about that a lot more. But I mean, hey, if they make it awesome, I'm gonna buy it. If they don't
Yeah,
make it awesome, I'm still gonna buy the card. Yeah, certain ones as promos, that's a good idea, right? Like,
from
um,
collection box promos, like
not even a
yeah,
collection box, but like maybe like like when the hype's down, maybe like a Pokemon Center promo or some special release. Like they do like the illustration contest promos where you spend a certain amount and you get like 3 of the promos. Like maybe they could do something like that on Pokemon Center. I think
yeah.
something like dude, the Regigigas goes so hard. I totally agree with that. I love most Regigigas cards. I think they're so cool. The one from Crown, it's Crown, right? I love that card.
Yeah. They do take arts from the
Yeah,
physical
they
TCG.
do.
Oh yeah, some of the vintage arts and use them for pockets. So maybe they could do the same in reverse. Yeah, potentially. We'll see.
But yeah, it's I'd be curious, like it would be so cool to know how they think. Like, do they truly want it to be separate and use it as like 2 revenue sources completely separate? That would be because they are both card games, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
they
guess.
could capitalize both sides. Like people are gonna buy the Pokemon set no matter what they come out with. Why like if they come out with a tangible physical pocket set, does that take away from the digital aspect? Because you could actually have the cards. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know either. There's a card game that came out. I don't know if you looked into this because sometimes you're like looking into tertiary stuff, right? But Altered TCG,
This
uh,
whole shelf is
different stuff.
Lion King. I have Simpsons. I have Lorcana, Metazoo, Toy Story, 100 Rugrats packs, which has the craziest chase in TCG history. If you guys don't know about the
Is it a
Rugrats set,
Reptar?
so there's 2 cards. Can I grab a pack real quick and read it?
Yeah.
Okay. So there is. All right. So this is the pack. I don't have like the card camera set up, but it says the odds on the back because they actually give us odds. There's like a main series. There's an interactive subset, and it tells you like how many of each. There's special insert cards, and the biggest chase is 1 in 2,100 packs, and there's 2 of them, so it's 1 in 4,200 packs for each of the arts. When I looked and bought these packs, I couldn't find them. I couldn't find a
Jeez.
picture of the special cards.
Jeez.
So
That's a ton.
and this was 1997, so made by Tempo. So it's
1 in 4,200. Jesus.
yeah, it's called the Ultimate Chase card.
Yeah.
So it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild.
Kramer says that's because 1 is in that pack.
I have a 100 packs right there, I think. So maybe
There
we
you
could start
go.
ripping. But there's like 1 in 300 chases. It's pretty wild. I don't know why that got brought up, but you said Altered TCG.
Yeah, so Alter TCG it's a really weird setup that they did. And I still don't fully understand it, but I do have some booster boxes of it because I did kickstart it. But basically, if you pull certain cards, you can have Altered print those cards, extra copies of those cards for you, and they will ship them to you.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing, but it's a way that kind of the digital can interact with the physical.
Yeah.
So what if Pocket at some point was like, hey, if you want this Charizard card and you pulled it, you can print one and we'll send it to you in the mail. That'd be crazy.
So it would be crazy, and I like the idea. I think the more complexity that gets added into something like that, the worse that they're off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the logistics behind that on their end, like with specifically Pokemon, like yeah, it's just I don't hate the idea. I like the idea, but I just think
Yeah.
it makes it a little complex. Like just give me a booster pack with it instead,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
But yeah, it's I didn't get into altered. I got into sorcery, and I said I think I sold those boxes when they were like 400 on release. I fire sold those babies. Now they're I don't know, like 12 grand a case or whatever they are. They're 10 grand a case. I told myself I'm never getting into one of those TCGs again. So, and I've stuck
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, I think Altered really hasn't made it outside of what Spain. I think Spain is where they're located and where a lot of like the play happens. I don't think anyone in the US cares about Altered at all.
Yeah, and
But
I think like most of these games, like there'll be a hype when it's coming out, and then it just goes to nothing.
yeah.
Unfortunately, whether it's cool or not.
Need to bring back Misaki like promos. Really like how Metazoo designed their convention products to encourage trading. So
Yeah, it was cool.
they didn't have those at this event, the trade packs. I was really excited about that, but they didn't have the trade packs at this one. They're trying to get it for Houston, one of the upcoming Texas ones. They're trying to get those trade packs set up and going. So it was really funny when we were sitting there with Charlie and we were flipping through the binder. Spat and I would be like, "Oh, that card's super cool," and Charlie would be like, "It's so weird watching you guys go through the binder because I freaking hate that card." He's like, I wasn't
Yeah.
even sure that we were gonna print that card because, and both me and Spat are like, "Oh man, the artwork on that is super sick." So yeah, I think it was just a really cool learning experience for all of
Now,
them.
like,
And
imagine the minds that you have to design a TCG or be involved in that process because we have such strong opinions on arts. Now, imagine like because like when you create a full set, let's say it's 200 cards, you
mm,
kind of have to take a step back, right? Because like there almost has to be a little bit for everyone to some extent. Like
yeah,
the majority of it has to be liked by it has to have the broad appeal. But like him hating that card, like imagine if they didn't have it and 90% of people normally like that.
yeah,
Like you have to have such a yeah, I don't know. It's pretty crazy when you take a step back and actually think about what these people have to do and how hard of a job they actually have.
yeah. You got to really take into consideration everyone's like different personal likes and dislikes and stuff. So I'm sure,
Yeah.
hopefully, they're probably putting a bunch of artworks up in like a Slack channel and with like 20 some people, and they're like, I love it, I hate it, I love it, I hate it. All right, print it. We're 50-50, like
Or
send
it's
it
like,
off.
hey, we trust the artist enough that they're gonna make something
Yeah,
cool that people are gonna like, and we just run it, right?
yeah, exactly. Um, Shug and Son of a Merc. I think they do a podcast together. I think giving each other some shit. Fuji-san, hello. I'm actually gonna be talking to Larry later
Yeah, you're
on this
so
month.
lucky. I miss Larry.
I have to stay up all the way until 10 p.m. because the dude just stays up all night. But
Yeah, I've never seen one of his streams because he goes live at 1 a.m. 1 a.m.
but I will be chatting with him. That'll be fun to talk about.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I haven't seen him I can't remember what show I
He was in
last saw him at, but
Chicago,
was it
Charlotte. He was
Chicago?
in Charlotte. Oh, you weren't in
Okay, yeah,
Charlotte.
I wasn't in Charlotte. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been a while. I got along really well with him. At least I thought so. And I got to hang out with him a decent bit. So looking forward to seeing him this year if I'm going to see him.
yeah. Larry's super cool. Would have been Orlando.
Oh, Orlando, yeah, that would make sense.
All right, guys, we're still doing the question things. If you have any questions for us, post them in the chat. We'll get to it.
Hey, come on, ask some hard questions. I'm waiting for
Some
'em.
real tough ones.
Give me the tough ones.
Spat. Shit, I missed a crash out. Yeah. If you didn't watch my last live stream, you missed a crash out.
Yeah, but like I think what you were saying like is like somewhat related to what my hot take was because like
Yeah.
it's just negativity sells, and people, I mean, like the whole CGC thing was your point, right? That was like what kind of started your rant. And it's like, yeah, where's the follow-up videos? Like, oh, they should have done it faster, but they're doing it. But the insurance company's paying it out. So that's what insurance is for.
Yeah. And then I
Like
did see,
if I lose all of Dan's inventory for my streams, should I pay him out of my pocket or just do an insurance claim? Is it bad because the insurance pays it out?
yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's a little funny. So Dan, that night after my live, he talked about it, and then I feel like that triggered certain people in the hobby to now make some videos about it, which is good. I like that.
But you said it too in your live though. Maybe they're making them and they just haven't come out yet. But
potentially,
or maybe they didn't know about it because they're not on Discord or E4. Like I don't know.
The one that I saw was basically they made a video about it, but in the first few minutes, they basically, instead of giving CGC any props, which I assume that I would be surprised if anyone did. Classics actually did. So Pokemon Classics, thank you.
Well, he's
for actually,
he's a very intelligent
he's a reasonable guy. But the other one that I saw, basically in the first 3 minutes of the video, was speculating on whether or not people at CGC were complicit in this scam. Yeah, they're paying people out, but what if?
I mean, it's possible. We don't know. We don't know though.
Yeah, but with it's just like, why even throw that out? And like, you don't know, we don't know, nobody knows.
If there's really legal stuff going on, like we shouldn't know about this. Like, you don't put out a statement and be like, we're suing this person. Like, if it's actually handled by an attorney or a team of attorneys, like it'll eventually come out, but it takes a lot of time. Legal stuff takes a lot of time. And I'm sure there are exact steps that they need to take to make sure if they're, let's say they're not involved in the whole process. They can't just go out and say a statement and then change up on that statement because then they look even worse.
Yeah.
So it's very, I wish they didn't grade them, obviously, but it's a very tough situation. And it seems like they're trying to figure it out, which is good.
Yeah.
And I hope everyone's made whole and the people that were involved in that whole process.
Shug has a question for you, PoNGa. What's the worst part about working for Dan?
I don't work for Dan, so I don't know.
What's the worst part about being a contractor for Dan?
It sounds crazy. Like there's not many. Like, I mean, it's like if I worked for you, right? Like, or Beerski or Chef or anyone in the, like, we're already friends, and so I'll say what my favorite thing about him is first is I don't have to act super professional with him, nor does he want me to be super professional with him.
Yeah.
And there's certain people you need to be like that with, like, but he doesn't expect that, which I really like. But the worst part, there was a time there where he was sending so many packs to me that it was an everyday thing, unpacking boxes so people could get paid out and this and that. And I had to tell him this is enough. So the influx of his sourcing capabilities is the worst part, I think, because he's talked about it before, right? Like we get paid for stream hours. So the more work outside stream is the less hourly we make. So
yeah.
But no, honestly, he is very transparent with, what he's buying, what we're making, and willing to make sure we succeed. So to be honest with you, there's not all that much bad to say to this point.
That's good.
I think the worst part is getting called 2 hours before I need to go live yesterday and auctioning off. I mean, you could see some of it, but like if anyone was around in the streams yesterday, we did something a little crazy. So that was probably the worst part, actually, was having no notice.
Some compensation needs to be had for that.
I won't speak for other people, but I think we're very happy with how we're compensated.
That's good. I actually had a point to make earlier when we were talking about the whole.
All right, that was a cop-out answer, Shug, but honestly, I don't really have much to complain about. Go ahead, sorry.
No, so when we were talking about going full time and stuff like that, and the benefits of being double dippers and triple dippers, um, one of the things was, one thing that I always thought for the longest time was I want to be my own boss. I want to work for myself. I don't want to have to answer to anybody. Like I want my time to be my time. Like I don't, I just want my success to be directly related to the amount of effort that I put into, you know, whatever I do. And I still get that having it be a side hobby, but it would be nice to not have to answer to anybody. Um, but I think on the and one thing that really pisses me off about corporate work is that I feel like at a lot of places, and I'm not going to say for every place, but because my job really doesn't do this anymore. But when I worked in retail and then when I worked in like less corporate environments, the harder you work, the more work you get. You're basically punished for working hard in a lot of scenarios, and that really sucks. And I think when I was in those scenarios, it was like I want to get out of this because I want to get into like a full time, be my own boss type thing because that means if I work hard, like I'm just gonna take an hour to myself, and you always see like the people who work, the people who are lazy end up working less, but they don't get punished for that, basically. But you get punished for working hard. That was a thing that I always experienced when I was in retail and stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
so in my corporate career, and we some of my friends at work, like we always joke about it. Like most people, like if you work a corporate job, it might be referred to something else at your company, but like there's a corporate game, right? Like you have to act a certain way and all that kind of stuff. And I've always made the joke that like I'm the one person in the room that's never gonna play that game because I want to be myself. And if people don't like that, like I just like being myself. And the reason I'm saying that is I've always been very transparent with my managers and stuff that, hey, my work time is my work time, kind of. Um, but when I leave work, like if something's not urgent and something's not going to blow up, I'm not going to respond to you at 10 o'clock at night.
yeah,
And so I really draw that line there. So that like really puts the boundary there. And I always tell my managers as well, right? Like, it's very rare that I'm gonna be like, "How much extra work can I do? Like, let me get it done, done, done." Just please tell me if I'm doing something wrong
yeah,
so I can correct that action. Don't wait 6 months and let it pile up. Tell me now so we could correct it. And I like that strategy because then if no one ever tells me I'm doing something wrong and I'm getting all my tasks done, everything I'm supposed to be doing is fitting our timelines, that's all I need to do. Like as long as I meet my timelines, I'm good.
yeah,
And that's just how like I think of it in my mindset rather than get done, get done, get done, give me more, give me more, give me more. Well, no, tell me if I'm doing something wrong and I'll get it done on my time as long as it's there
yeah,
for the due date type thing.
yeah.
So
Sometimes,
it's a hard balancing act. But then like working your other part of your statement, right? Like working, being your own manager, like there's a lot of stress that comes from that too, where
yeah,
there's it's very hard to draw that boundary, especially when you're not in a financial situation where you could afford to take time off, or when you're building that company, or when you're trying to scale a business. Um, so yeah, I'm very comfortable at positioning myself working for someone else when it's the right situation,
yeah, yeah. So sometimes it
which is
feels
very
like,
hard to get. It's very hard to get, by the way, the right situation.
yeah, and it's a whole different skill set, right? It's like if you're your own boss, you have to, you have to be diligent about your work time versus your family time, like even more because you're in charge of it. So it's way easier
Yeah,
to blur the lines and
you're always
not
on
be
the
as
clock.
productive. And yeah, and I absolutely hated retail because when I worked in the warehouse at a retail store, it was like there would be 3 or 4 of us. We would have on the clock every hour we had to get a certain amount of stuff done. And it was like sometimes it was like, okay, me and one other person are doing 80% of the work and the other two
Yeah,
people are doing 20% of the work. And we both get the same amount of praise. Like we're both paid the same. And it's just like, this doesn't make
the
any
end test
sense.
still got done, right? Like no one cares. Your
Yeah.
managers or the higher ups, they just care about the outcome. They don't care about how it gets there. They don't
Yeah.
care who did it, right? And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's definitely an interesting dilemma. I think a lot of people have, but
Definitely.
yeah, I don't know that I'll ever truly want to be full time in like this kind of thing where I don't have a income from someone else
Yeah.
in any extent.
Grimer has a question. I'm pretty sure he's literally just waiting with the enter button on his keyboard to write TEYG because of how I say the name
Tag.
of this grading company. How does your lives receive? Okay, dude. What? How does your lives receive different grading companies? Is this a Chat GPT question? My life? How does my lives receive?
Lives like Fanatics Live. How does the
Oh
audience per like
shit.
CGC PSA Beckett?
He's asking you because you're a live streamer. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so
How
it's
does your lives receive different grading companies? Have you tried Tag or other
tag.
outside the big three?
Um so
Sorry, I
it's
butchered your
very
question.
like so if it's like CGC, randomly stuff does well, but a lot of times like if it's a CGC 10 of an art rare, you're just giving them free money. Which is fine. People need wins, right? But I can say the same thing like PSA 10s. I auctioned off a PSA 10 Mr. Mime Japanese 151 AR. It sold for like $14 or $18. So like I could use examples from any grading company where people didn't care what the slab was. They cared more about the card, which is hilarious. Um, but yeah, I tend to like to run hit cards in PSA, even if they're nines, because I know I'm probably at least going to get the around the raw value. And then like our big high end streams, like we could get a little weird. Like if you have a Greyfelt Hat Pika in a CGC 10, like that's still gonna do well, right? People
Yeah.
still want it. But if it's like a random AR, like PSA and CGC both do bad. And to answer your second part of the question, no, we've never auctioned off any tag. And I honestly don't know if people in our lives even know what that is. So we've never been asked about it. Let me say that.
Gotcha. We have a question from Larry. How has your confidence in running higher end or more niche items changed over time? Has it gotten better or worse after trying it a few times?
So the fun part is like I very rarely auction my own items. So it's mostly Dan, so I have zero risk. And I'm never going to put Dan in a situation where I auction one item that goes for 50% market, like $1,000 slab for 500, and then run more because it's just not in the best interest.
Right.
But I think most of the times when I've run super high end, it's been a very promoted stream, right? Like we're doing a vintage box break, or like I did like it was a Friday or something. I was like, hey, on Sunday I'm auctioning off an Evolving Skies booster box starting at $1. Well, it's an Evolving Skies booster box. People have time to see it. People are going to show up and at least bid 70-80% market, right? Which is totally fine. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to put a confidence meter on things because it's rarely my stuff. But it definitely is stressful. Like yesterday, if anyone saw, I keep referencing it. We titled it the biggest Fanatics stream, biggest Fanatics live ever, part 1 and 2. We were auctioning off PC ETB cases starting at $1, Journey Together cases starting at $1, PK auctioned off 6 Fusion Strike boxes starting at $1. Like it was
All at once?
yes. It luckily for him, I guess the payment failed, but 100 packs of Prismatic for 60% market. Like
Isn't that like
and
3
so
grand?
yes.
Jesus.
So the point being is when you have a good platform behind you that will kind of eat some of the cost, I guess I'll say, of auctioning that kind of stuff, and a platform that really is trying to work with us, it becomes a little easier to do. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have that much experience auctioning my own personal stuff. And I typically put my own personal stuff in the buy it now. So if you ever watch our lives and there's a PO after it, that means PoNGa.
I'm curious. If you weren't partnered with Dan,
No,
would you be streaming right now?
no,
No?
no. Dan said it too. Like me and PK were messaging him like a year before he started doing it. Like it was, I thought to maybe start with other people, but I wanted to stream for someone that there wasn't going to ever be worry about having a night where stuff goes for 60%. And that we are really going to be positioned in the best opportunity for us to succeed, which I mean, it is very hard to have hundreds of packs of 20 different sets in stock at all times. Like it's a lot of work. And it's a lot of capital, right? Like people always give Dan such a hard time. Why didn't you buy 20,000 Crown Zeniths when they were 350? Well, because we have thousands of 151. We have thousands of Paldean Fates. You have Evolving Skies. Like these, you have to have everything, right? So no, I don't know. I won't say 100% no, but it would have had to be a very similar situation where I was able to stream here. I don't have to move, right? A lot of these big streamers, you have to move to where they're located, stream out of their facility. So yeah, I don't know that I would necessarily be doing it. It for sure not for myself. I would never start my own stream. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
But if it was a similar situation with someone else, maybe. I'm always
Interesting.
available to hire, baby. But I think, and I've told Dan this, so I'm not sucking up too much, but I think it's genuinely. Sometimes you like look at your life and you think like, what would be the perfect opportunity for me to get to really put me in a place where I want to be in my life, and I think this is it. So
Sweet.
I got very, very lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. The whole streaming thing, it's because I
You could
have
say
thought,
it. Just say it. You could say it. I don't mind.
what?
I love your cat, by the way.
Yeah, she's good sometimes. No, I like the streaming thing. I like hopping into Beerski stream. I like hopping in your stream, Chef stream. I like that so many people stream. There is a part of me that wonders if I should try hopping on Whatnot again and giving it a try once a week and seeing how it goes. I just know that like, and maybe you can talk about this. I've seen how long it takes after a 3-4 hour stream for Chef to pack all that shit up and send it out, especially with eBay Live, which I think is probably the worst of all of the softwares or platforms to actually stream on when it comes to like backend and stuff like that. And I just look at it and I'm like, as much as the actual streaming part would be fun for me, I don't want to spend hours after packing that stuff up. Like, absolutely not. So yeah, I guess for people who are thinking about like hopping in and starting a stream or something, how long, if you go 4 hours with pack rips and singles and stuff like that, how long are you packing the next day? Just the packing side of it, like the back end
So,
side of it.
like, we did 3 hours yesterday, but like cases, ETB, like that stuff takes way longer. Like, if it's rips and like a single, like I could throw these in a bubble mailer very quickly, right? But I typically do about 25 to 30 packages an hour. If I'm taking my time, that's like watching a video in the background, running and getting more bubble wrap, all that time included, pulling the orders. So I keep them in like a like a PSA shoebox or whatever you call them.
Yeah, yeah.
And I pull them in that time as well. All that kind of stuff, input the shipment data, all that kind of stuff. So I mean, like a normal stream where it's maybe like 40-50 packages, maybe like an hour and a half, taking my time, like I said. But like the jungle stream where we gave away 30 prismatic ETVs, and you have to, like, I don't carry every size box, So like I'm putting in an 8x8x8 one ETB. You have to put all the packing paper in, all that kind of stuff. That took me like the whole day Saturday, like the whole day on and off. And I was in the Discord while you guys were playing Halo, and I was packing
Yeah.
140 packages because we try to get stuff out within 2 business days, and a lot of times the next business day. So it's a lot of work. And that's just like the work. And I mentioned it earlier. That's the work that like is obvious to people. It's the, I have 5 rows here with every single set off to my right. Well, if I sell 500 packs, now I have to go restock it. So I have to go down to where I store my packs, bring them back up, make sure we have everything. I list 36 pack lots, 100 pack lots, 9 pack lots. Well, I have to make sure there's 5 36 pack lots here, 5 9 pack lots, and 200 pack lots, and they're all here, so I don't have to run downstairs and grab more packs. And so it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and that's only 2 days a week. Like,
Yeah,
2 days a week's nothing.
Maybe I've just seen the eBay side of it, and when you have 4 days post a live stream that people have to actually pay you.
That's the most ridiculous thing. I can't.
And hopefully they will change that. It sounds like they're making improvements. Chef and Grimer are both saying that eBay's making improvements, but yeah, it's that's horrible. Because then you can't really plan your shipping. It's just like, well, I can ship maybe most of it tomorrow, but then I still have to wait for 3 days for this idiot to pay, because he never pays. He always waits 5 days to pay, and all that shit happens, and it's just like, oh my God, that's so annoying.
I mean, we talk about the balance, right? Like being having a full-time job and doing this. Like I told Dan straight up, like we were like, should we do eBay Live Fanatics? eBay Live Fanatics. We ultimately went with Fanatics first, but he keeps saying, well, maybe eBay Live will come, and I want to do a third night, right? Well, PK does all the nights, so obviously I would default to doing a night on eBay Live. But I told Dan, like, my Sunday stream, I either pack it like Monday night or Tuesday night. Like, I'm not going to pack that stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and maybe the last one's Thursday, and then possibly have packages that were from Sunday stream mixed with packages from my Thursday stream on Fanatics.
Yeah.
It just, I'm doing my packaging now. It's all done, because when I do that, so I do like a number system, right? Like this is auction number 1. When I'm done with my final package, I should have nothing left over. And if I do have nothing left over, I know I did it right, or I at least shipped out everything. Now, if I do some packages here, some packages there, like what if I accidentally forget a number and I realize it Wednesday, but I shipped their package Monday? Well, I can't correct it.
Yeah.
Now that rarely happens because my brain doesn't allow that to happen, because I double and triple check everything.
Yeah.
But it is definitely very interesting, and I hope eBay makes that a little bit better. But it's good to hear that, Chef. It's good to hear that.
Grimer has a question. How do you feel you've grown as a streamer? What was the hardest part of the adjustment process?
Trying to. Oh, that's a tough question.
I guess it's the typical, like, if you could tell yourself 6 months ago something that would greatly benefit them, like, for the process of streaming, like what advice would you give your 6 month ago self?
Yeah, I'll give a couple answers. So it's like the back end stuff, I would be way more organized, because if you start off organized, it's way easier to keep it that way. I started off disorganized with everything I got in, and it's still disorganized because it takes too long to organize. I know where stuff is. That's not my point. But like if I had a 5 row with like no mixed sets in every 5 row, right? Like something like that, I can know exactly instantly by a quick glance how many packs I have. Stuff like that. Or like organizing my singles in 5 rows instead of, I just keep them in the box Dan ships them in, and I go through it before every stream and just pull random cards. And then I think it's where I've grown is, and I feel like when I'm on lives, I talk way more now because I'm so used to having to talk to myself for 5 hours, filling the dead space, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know where my weak points are, and I know where I exceed at. When people are being interactive in chat, it's a very fun stream. When I have to fill the dead space, I'm not good at it. Yeah. I'm very good at interacting with every single chat, answering questions, goofing around, giving the inside jokes back and forth with people that are there every single night. And I'm very bad at just talking about random stuff. So
Yeah.
I've definitely grown in the engagement area, getting to know people. I know Chef used to always talk about that. You know what people collect in your stream, so you could cater your streams to that. But there's still improvement areas and filling that space.
Yeah. Yeah. I did Twitch for like 4 or 5 years, and that's basically all that is when you start off is talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Because if someone just pops in and they're the one person in chat, you're not just going to want to sit there not saying anything and just playing the video game, because you know it's still a show, even if there's only like
You
2
end
3
up
people in
repeating
there.
yourself a lot. You say
Yeah.
like, "Oh, auction 50, auction 50." Like you figure it out, but yeah, it's and I will say I've gotten a lot better at like not feeling like it's hectic while I'm live, and that just comes with repetition. Obviously, you have your process, whether it's the most efficient process. I know mine's not, but it's what my brain likes doing. So it takes a little more time. Like when I open packs, I write too much on the bag. It's double and triple checks on the bag, so I never mix up someone's hits, which is way too much. But I could almost guarantee you're not going to get the wrong hits. So
Yeah.
it's definitely been a journey, and only getting better.
Michael Duck asks, is there any risk of a live stream getting completely scalped? I'm assuming like most of the stuff going well under market.
No, I think he's saying over market.
Over market.
Because the next set I asked, because listening to this sounds like the audience is more casual and uneducated. I don't really know what we talked about that would make it seem like people in the
completely
chat are
scalped.
uneducated, but
I do think so. I would say, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when I've been in at least eBay live streams and other streams, it seems like it is a completely different consumer. It seems like there are people who buy primarily on live streams. And I don't know if I would say that they're, you know, less or more educated than a normal buyer, but it does seem like it's less about the market value of the card and more about how much I want to spend on this card right now, how much fun I'm having, you know, might play into it a little bit, and how much I want to support the person who's streaming, because there's more of like a emotional component, like a social component to it. So I have seen streams where the majority of stuff goes over market, especially like singles and stuff like that.
the big streams.
And I've seen slabs, CGC 10s or whatever, go for like 50% of market. So it's like, you know, I think it varies. But yeah, you can obviously talk to it as well.
Yeah, it's a good question, because I don't know that I would feel good if everything we sold was always like 150% market, like with auctions and stuff. I could almost guarantee we do not make money on auctions. A lot. I mean, I could tell you from yesterday, I auctioned a Journey Together case for like 940. Like that's way under market. But I think that's the nature of how we auction it on our channel. Like we don't say, "Hey guys, this is a $1,400 case. Make sure you get in. Make sure you get in. Oh, you guys are broke. You're not getting in." We don't do that kind of stuff. So it truly is what it sells for is what it sells for. What I've noticed about the Fanatics Live buyers is, yeah, some of them might be more casual and just there to rip a few packs or buy a couple cute cards or cool looking cards. But a lot of times people just don't bid if they don't know what it is. And I think I've seen some streams where like people are going to bid on no matter what's on the screen. I don't really see that as much on Fanatics, at least from what I see. Now, is there a $2 promo that might sell for $5? Absolutely, it happens. Is there a $30 promo that might sell for $50? Absolutely. But maybe they think it looks super clean and they could grade it a 10. That happens. We sold a Van Gogh above market, raw, opened, and the dude graded it a 10 and doubled his money because he thought it looked clean. So it's definitely a mixed bag, but I think I really like how we handle it. And we literally go, hey, $1 auction, and we don't talk about the market value. Sometimes we win, but a lot of times we lose, to be completely honest with you. And I think, me, PK, and Dan would all tell you that. Yesterday, we did not win. The Jungle Box Break, we did not win. The Fossil Box Break, we did not win. I promise. So it's definitely an interesting conversation, and I could definitely see why people would ask those questions.
Yeah. Let's see. These things won't get bids unless you explain or they know. Yeah, that's an interesting thing too, is I feel like your knowledge base for the stuff that you're selling is very important too, because if you have no idea like where it comes from, and this again, like what you're kind of talking about with just enjoying the things for what they are. Like if you can't find something fun about just about every card that you're going to sell to try and not to try and like inflate the price or anything, but to tell people like, oh, this is the Charizard from Pokecune. Isn't this reverse holo really cool? Isn't this, the Charmander has this heart reverse holo pattern that's super cool too. And like if you know those things and you can explain it to buyers who maybe aren't fully in the know about that particular product, they might want it because you're, telling them something cool. You're selling the product basically.
Yeah, it's yeah, I think it's so different from platform to platform. Um yeah, it's definitely really interesting. And yeah, I don't think we really hit the lottery on the auctions, to answer your question.
mm, um, let's see. How do you try to make sure that you've got kind of a variety every stream? Like you don't want to sell the same things on Tuesday that you sold on Sunday, sort of thing.
So there's certain cards though, right? Like
Right.
if it's the secret Pika from Crown, I'll sell that every stream because people always want that card.
Yeah.
But sorry, keep going with your question.
No, yeah, that was basically like,
Yes, I like to have a variety, but like the stained glass bird hidden fates promo. If I have it here, I will sell one or two every stream because someone always wants that card. I love the card. I think there's no other card in Pokemon that's like it, right? So people want that card. People like the card. And so a lot of times the same person will buy multiple copies because they like the card. And that's a card that will probably go for market price because everyone likes it and
mhm,
people know what the card is. But then there's other things like slabs. Like we might have bought them from you. I don't know. But like Lugia, Japanese PSA 10s, the gold one or the full arts, like you auction that once or twice, you might get 80% market. You auction it again, you're going to get wrecked because the two people that wanted it already have it.
yeah,
And so there's a fine balance. And I was talking to Dan about this yesterday. I was like, we need to figure out a way to where we do our best to. I have these singles and PK has these singles at all times. So like we don't auction the same things every night because we have a lot of the same viewer base. And so Finax doesn't have that huge user base where you're going to get 50 different buyers every night. No, you might get the same 25 buyers and a new 5 or 10.
yeah,
So yeah, I try to have like 2 or 3 stacks of singles this big so I have stuff to pull. And I'll try, hey, here's a trainer gallery. How does it go? I don't know what market value is on most of the stuff in this market. If it seems like it went well, maybe I'll do another one. And I try to just have a wide variety of everything. And I also try to cater my auctions well. I know this guy, there's one guy in our stream that I auction 3 or 4 tops cards every single night. He was like the only one bidding on them. I know he likes tops. Let him win on those. He's an awesome guy. He's in all of our streams, supports all that kind of stuff. So I try to do that kind of stuff as well. So it it's definitely a balance, to answer your question, and I try to have a variety and try to
yeah,
change it up as much as I can. But that's
y-
hard. That's hard
yeah,
when you're doing a lot of auctions. It's hard.
yeah. That's the tough part about helping Chef with the sourcing side of it is a lot of times if I have a card that I know is a decent play at PSA 10, I'm gonna buy like 10 or 20 of them, but then Chef's gonna get like 6 of them. So it's like he'll have 6 of the same card, and then he has to figure out, okay, I guess I'll auction one of these today, but maybe I'll skip a week and auction it again next. And then
Yeah.
he
I
doesn't
mean,
have as much
the
variety as
perfect
he probably
the
would want.
perfect example is what we were talking about. Like the other night, I did the 8 KFC promos, or yesterday I did the 8 KFC promos in one auction. Well, if I auction the KFC promos every stream, It's gonna get dark very, very quick. So I've had
Lit.
I've
Tell me
had a
when you're
bag
doing
of like
it.
20 or 25 of each of them,
Yeah.
and I only run it like once every month and a half because the one or two people that have it probably already have it, and I'm just hoping that there's someone else that doesn't have it the next time I run it. It's very
Yeah.
tough. It is very. I think it's very tough to, especially like with us. We're live 12 times a week, so it gets hard to have new stuff.
Yeah. What does PK must do 2 days?
He does morning and night on the weekdays, so he's live 5 days a week in the morning, and then he's live 4 nights a week during the week. I'm live Thursday, and then he's live Saturday, and I'm live Sunday. So 12
Damn, all
streams a
right.
week. We've only missed like
Shit.
two. We've only seen like we've only missed like 2 or 3 days since we started in October. I think one was Christmas. PK was live on New Year's Eve, man. So
Yeah.
I think Thanksgiving we didn't stream, which is obvious. Like,
Yeah. Well, let's see if we have. Okay. So this is something. This is my one criticism of Dan. I don't understand why. Well, I guess
come on, say it.
at the beginning when he was talking about doing it himself, um there was I was like, you should absolutely dual stream it to your YouTube.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
But then he could even he could even give you the stream key and you could be dual streaming it to his YouTube channel. Like his like stream essentially pulling in viewers, but I guess
I don't
maybe
think that would pull in many viewers, in my opinion.
I don't know. I think people are highly underestimating it. Because he has
How
a
many?
very
How many?
active viewer base for live.
How many? How many people do you think would see his YouTube stream and not see multiple Instagram posts of his? There's probably a percent, but is it that
Probably a
high of a
lot.
percent? I don't know if it's that high of a percent.
I think
I
there's a
really
lot of
don't.
people who watch my YouTube content that do not follow me on Instagram.
But the content you make is very different than the content he makes. We see the same people, maybe not in this market. Let me backtrack. But like his normal 50 viewer base that he was getting 6 months ago are the same people you see in every stream. They all probably follow him on Instagram. And I see none of those people in our chat. They know we're live. They know we're
Yeah.
live. They know.
Yeah, maybe it is a different consumer.
Now I will say there might be a couple, which is obviously if you have one more buyer in your chat, you might be able to make an extra 10% on everything because they might bid on more stuff. The more people you have to bid, the better.
If I ever tried Whatnot, at least at the start, I would absolutely be dual streaming it to my YouTube.
Yeah.
But I'm also it would be weird for people to go into a Catch 'em All collectible live and see PoNGa like selling stuff. So if it
exactly.
was Dan, I would think it was a no brainer. Like if it was me trying out Whatnot, I would definitely stream to YouTube as well. But
Yeah, I mean it's really interesting. I think the one thing we're really lacking is clipping stuff. Like when I pulled the
oh yeah,
God Pack or a Bubble Mew or whatever, right? That's where we're really lacking, and I would like to improve on. But
yeah, shorts are crazy.
like, imagine I'm dual streaming to a YouTube channel. Like, am I gonna be reading those comments too? Like, I don't have time to do that. Like, we always have action. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, there's ways like people dual stream on Twitch and YouTube and have a combined chat, but like,
you probably can't do
I,
that with
I'm
selling
gonna focus
content.
on the people that are in the live stream that are buying stuff. Like, they take priority. They get all my attention. They are supporting us.
Yeah,
I think it's about the conversion over, but
yeah,
I don't know. Like PK goes live before our big box breaks, and I think they definitely help. But like we didn't go live yesterday, and we had just as many viewers on the jungle as the jungle and fossil stream with no advertisement.
you had a couple hundred
So
viewers
I
yesterday.
had 243 at one point.
Damn, bro.
Now it did help that Rattle sent a bunch of people, so shout out to Rattle.
Oh yeah,
But PK had 190 or 180 at like midnight. So
yeah, I guess it depends. I can see it being useful.
I'm not saying you're wrong. It's an interesting thought, and I'm not saying right or wrong.
I can see it being useful if you're just starting out. Like if you haven't established, like in my situation, if I have no followers on Whatnot, but I haven't established YouTube, it seems like a no-brainer to be like, okay, I'm gonna try and at least get started by trying to pull from my more established social media platform to bring people over, or
and
to at least inflate
when you're on a platform, especially when we started, that had 0 people in the Pokemon section.
Yeah,
and we did what we did, where we're auctioning first stream ever, Evolving Skies boxes, $1,000 slabs. Like, people are gonna be there, and then you build relationships with people. And some of our big buyers at the beginning are no longer here. And so I don't think any social media website adding it would be a negative. I just don't know how much benefit it would be for the time.
That's true. I see that for sure. Isn't Probe's team making a stream platform? Yep. It's called Bid. Probe's team, if you're looking for a streamer. Hello.
Hey, you guys looking for a big Fnatic streamer?
And we'll close it out with this comment from Grimer. Y'all see what happened to Sterling's BGS sub? Person in charge of grading left the company and it got stuck in flux for months. I did see that. I didn't know it was Sterling's. It was like 5 or 6 months that it got stuck at BGS because the person grading it left the company and didn't, I guess, forward it on to anybody else. And they just basically said, like, sorry for the inconvenience. It's like BGS being BGS.
Yeah, it's I don't even know what to say, because it's like you go down the rabbit hole, right? You could PSA damaging cards, and I'd rather have my order be in flux than them give me back a sub and every single corner is dinged. So
that's true.
I don't know. It sucks. And anything that has humans handling items, tangible items, there's going to be mistakes or things that happen that are out of really anyone's control. And you just kind of have to build that into your risk when you're grading. Not everything's going to go your way.
Yeah.
It's not a guaranteed moneymaker like it seems. You're going to get wrecked on subs. You're going to get subs back that all have the wrong labels on them. You're going to get damaged cards. You're going to all that kind of stuff. So
BGS.
You're going to get asked to sign NDAs for stuff and all this stuff. So it's wild. It is wild. I'm happy for everyone that grades with BGS for the Black Label Chase. I don't know that I'll ever be one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, if you enjoyed the first chat of this 30 days, 30 chats with PoNGa, make sure to hit the like button before you leave. And make sure to check out PoNGa again. PoNGa, if you want to run through your plugs one more time, tell everyone where they can find you.
PoNGa Collectibles on Insta. God, I tell myself I need to post there more often. I need to, so maybe one day. I have a lot of cool stuff to share in my collection, so that would be probably more collection focused rather than business. Besides, like the stories I post that I'm going live. You can catch me on Box Nostalgia Podcast with my buddy Bierski every other Wednesday. Doing all the stuff that we talked about before, tier list, talking about Pokemon video games, anything we're nostalgic about. It's a lot of fun, and it would be nice to have a little more chat interaction, asking us questions, and stuff like that. I think it's a little less what's in the news type and more what we want to talk about type podcast, which is definitely a change of pace from a lot of content. And then live Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. and Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern on Fanatics Live, on Catch 'em All Collectibles channel. But yeah, that's basically it. I appreciate you having me on.
course.
It's always good to start with the best person first. So I appreciate you.
True.
But yeah, it was a
True.
fun chat. I feel like I talked a lot, which I think is the point of it.
Yeah.
It was definitely a lot of fun. I haven't done one of these in a little bit where it was more of like a one-on-one, um, mainly focusing on asking me questions. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't I try not to pump the live stuff too much.
You're good.
But unfortunately, like, it's most of my Pokemon experience at this point. So
Yeah.
And how many Fanatics Live streamers do you get to talk to? So
Exactly.
it's a new perspective a little bit. But yeah, appreciate you guys all hanging out, and make sure you hit that sub and like button. This guy, and I wanted to also mention, I was talking to my wife about this really quick, and I know you want to end, so I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good.
I think you're a little bit like me, where we tend to be a little more introverted, and social things really drain me. So when I'm on camera or I'm at an event, I think I'm good at being part of the crowd and talking on lives and all that stuff. But it really drains me. So you doing this 30 days in a row
We'll see how it goes.
is wild. When I get off of live, I am mentally drained.
Yeah.
And so shout out to you. I think this is one of the cooler things that someone's done in specifically like our close niche of the hobby. So shout out to you. Make sure you guys watch all of them.
Appreciate it.
And
Tomorrow,
I'm undefeated on the game show, baby.
That's true. Tomorrow we'll be talking to Retrospecs, Thursday DeGreen Shiz, Friday Skater Nesto, Saturday Shug Nasty, and Sunday Old School Pokemon. So that is the lineup for this week, and they should be all fun conversations. So make sure to come back 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow to check out my conversation with Retrospecs. All right, we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.